Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 243 of Nintendo Pow Block, where today we will be discussing, do we spend too much on video games in our dock mode? But before we get to all of that, let me introduce you to the guy sitting next to me. First up, we have our producer and the man who can fight Rathalos blindfolded, Mr. Jacob Galutrad.
What's going on, everybody? Oh man, that livened my mood quite a bit. So true.
Next up is our editor-in-chief and recent promotion at Zelda Dungeon copy editor, Mr. David Lasby.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here.
And the man who has the biggest backlog in the history of gaming, our original host and the boss rush hype man himself, Mr. Eddie V.
Hello, everybody. Woohoo!
And very, very special guest, host of the Crossroads PlayStation podcast and Hunter for Hire, Mr. LeRon Dawkins.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, welcome to the show. And hey, how's everybody's weekend going?
Before we go, who are you as the host?
Oh yeah. Forgot to introduce myself. I'm Dan. Special host
Short,
today.
Sweet, simple, to the point.
Eddie V is letting me sit in for him since my birthday is coming up on the weekend, so this is his nice little gift to me.
Happy early
Aw,
birthday.
that's so nice.
Isn't
Don't
he
worry.
a guy?
Don't worry, Dan will have something in his email or his chat soon. That's on it.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah.
You're going to buy him the DLC for Age of Calamity, aren't you?
Oh, I hope so.
Oh. That's it.
I would cry. I don't even own the game anymore. David, how's your weekend?
Oh, it was awesome. I watched Mortal Kombat, and it was all the gore fests just like you could ask for. It was fantastic. I loved it. It brought me back, and watched a little bit more Demon Slayer. Got to play some games. I had a great weekend.
Ed.
Yeah, recorded Boss Rush podcast with some controversial opinions from that like really blew up to a good discussion. Worked, picked up some games that I'm going to be talking about in Playing with Power, and yeah, and finalizing my story that I'm going to be sending to David real soon to see what he thinks, and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. It's going to be a real good one. And then started on my new blog with Game Pass and Nintendo, and it's going to be a good one.
Nice.
Dude, Ed, I'm really excited to read. I'm interested. I'm interested to read your story. You usually have such passionate writing. I have LeRon knows a little bit about this. I've had a crazy 3 weeks. Past I think it's 4 weeks now. I'm kind of losing track of time. But this weekend I was fixing my floor in my back room of my house. It got water damage, and I spent all weekend tearing up the base tile, and then tearing up apparently the people who built the house put 2 layers of plywood down. So I tore up both of those, and I've just been hacking away at it bit by bit. So I'm exhausted. But gaming wise, I played more Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Rise, and a friend of mine for his birthday bought me Monster Hunter World. So that was kind of weird. But shout out to DB. He really wanted someone to play with, and so he was like, I know who will play this. He bought myself and two of our other friends, and we're all playing it now with him. So it was very weird.
Oh man, that's a nice friend. If you guys need a fourth for Monster Hunter World, let me know.
Yeah. But then other than we will, LeRon, we will. I don't know if it'll come up or not, but we'll see, because I think we already have the 4 of us, but we're trying to get our schedule set up. But then other than that, I'm finally playing something. So I'm 230 hours into Monster Hunter Rise right now, and I just started Monster Hunter World again as well. But I'm finally playing non-Monster Hunter games. I'm back to playing around in the world of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And then I'm also going to be starting The Longing for some YouTube content. That indie game that was announced.
It's like cartoon drawn, right?
Where you wait 400 days, right?
Yes. Yeah. And apparently I found out that the game does have mechanics to speed it up. the 400-day wait time, but I'm kind of hoping to avoid that because I want to do like a daily check-in for 400 days on YouTube. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, other than that, and then I think I played a little bit of Monster Hunter with LeRon last week as well, but I'm not, like I said, my weeks have all just been the same because I've just been working nonstop.
You want to play some Monster Hunter with me tonight?
Possibly, man. I still have floor work to do, man.
Okay, yeah, because I still have not fought that Raknakadaki yet. I've been doing all sorts of other stuff, but my weekend was kind of a blur. It went too quickly, to be honest with you. Did a bunch of different podcast shows over the weekend for Boss Rush. Ed and I were on this weekend's Boss Rush podcast, and that was fun. I enjoyed it. It's always good hanging out with Ed, even though I swear, like, compatriots at Boss Rush seem to think that we argue like cats and dogs or something.
This morning when Dan and Logan even David, I think, had their popcorn ready for us to go in. I'm just like, uh-oh.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. They think we don't like each other or something.
I mean, y'all don't, but
yeah, but my weekend went way too fast. But I managed to definitely like pause like just long enough to play some Monster Hunter because last week I barely touched Monster Hunter. Last week was crazy for me, and beyond that, just living life, that thing, trying to play more games, but always getting stuck not being able to play games.
Yeah, I had one of those weekends where I just kind of like Saturday I just tuned out for everything. I went on a big bike ride on Friday, which felt great. Ariel and I did about 33 miles.
Wow. Jealous. Yeah. I'm so jealous.
So yeah, there's a trail that goes from my town to BWI Airport and back. So it's like there's no stops or anything. It's great. And then we kind of just hung out. We made sushi, and I played some baseball this weekend too, which was great.
Your pictures of your sushi is amazing, Dan.
That was the first time I made sushi.
Really?
It was like amazing.
Wait, where were these pictures at? Are they on the gram?
No, pop on our Discord channel. Snack.
Oh, it's on Discord. Okay. I guess that's where I should have put my glorious meal from last night at too.
I was already ready to get it on LeRon and be like, why do I don't have this picture in my chat? LeRon cook, and the thing about what LeRon cooking, we'll probably talk about the snack table, is the way that you played it. LeRon was perfect.
I'm not good at plating, so thank you. I am not good at plating. As a matter of fact, the thing I do with plating is I get it on my plate so I can eat it.
Yeah. All right. Before we get started on everything, we'll do a quick housekeeping. Nintendo Pow Block airs on Twitch on twitch.tv Boss Rush Games every Monday night at 8:30 EST. If you can't make it to our live show, you can find our podcast uploaded every Wednesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to your podcasts. Please be sure to join our small but growing community on Twitter or Facebook at Nintendo Pow Block, and you'll find our Discord link there, where LeRon should check out the Snacktendo page. And if you like our show enough and want to discover a few more cool podcasts like ours, pop over to our parent network's website, www.bossrushgames, to discover our network of podcasts and read some great articles. So let's get into Snacktendo. Since we already kind of did. Jacob, kick it off.
Let's see. So I kind of treated myself this weekend after working tirelessly on my floor. And I got myself one of the little packets of the dark chocolate Kit Kats, because I love dark chocolate. Dark chocolate's actually my favorite. I don't really like milk chocolate or white chocolate at all. So those were really good. And then tonight I actually had some just melt in your mouth roast beef. With just that typical brown gravy and roasted potatoes and carrots and onions, and oh man, I absolutely devoured that tonight.
Nice.
But other than that, not a whole lot of snackage from me.
Cool. How about you, LeRon?
Well, I might as well, since I kind of like gave the preview of it. Yesterday, like I basically made my whole roommates weekend because I made the Thai style chicken wings that I tend to talk about on different shows. Made that the fried chicken wings, and I finally perfected my Belgian waffle recipe. I've been doing these waffles for a while, and something was off about it, and I figured it out. Put the smallest amount of baking powder into it. But yeah, you know what? And I'm being chastised right now for not putting the picture in Snacktendo on the Discord, so I will do that later this evening. But yeah, tonight after this show wraps, my roommate's mom, Vietnamese, she sent home her wonderful homemade pho, and I am ready.
Jealous. Can I please get pics? Please send me pics. I want to see pics.
Okay, I just told you my plating sucks. So why would you? You're going.
I'm talking about for me.
You're gonna want a picture of my reheated soup.
I don't care. Send it to me personally. Snacktendo don't have to get it. This is first person exclusive content that I'll come for.
Okay.
Well, I also had Belgian waffles this weekend. I made some strawberry Belgian waffles with a little bit of chocolate chips in there, and that was great. But the highlight of the week for me, my wife loves to cook, and lately she's been doing like a different region of the world each week. And so this last week was Ethiopian food, and
nice.
I couldn't even name the dishes, but it was like I felt like I ate like a king for all week.
Did you eat with your hands and use the little bread thing to pick it up?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it was authentic Ethiopian food. She's part of this group that like collaborates with all the recipes and stuff, and oh my god, it was so good. It was great.
Nice.
I'm so jealous. I want to know more about Ethiopian food. Was it it was vegan, right? Everything was vegan?
Yeah, actually, so some cultures have like a lot more vegan food just naturally, and there's a lot of vegan Ethiopian food that's just like incredible. So yeah, definitely I'm going to be checking out some Ethiopian restaurants in the area now for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, so in DC, there's like a couple of Ethiopian restaurants that were right by us that we used to go to, and it's funny because they actually like used to throw a lot of lamb in to just like random recipes to appease Westerners. Like Ethiopian food is really, really good, but I never felt full after eating it. But like, man, it's such an experience, especially if you go to something authentic. But, speaking of DC restaurants, I actually had the pleasure of meeting one of our Boss Rush writers, Block's Game Reviews. He was down in DC with his wife this weekend, and I brought him over to a ramen restaurant in Chinatown on Saturday for lunch. So I had a nice shoyu ramen, which I always go for, and they seemed to really enjoy it, so that was great. But Ed, you're the star of the Snacktendo. What'd you have?
So I had some ramen also, beef ramen with the little fish thing in it, with the thick broth. It was so good. I melted. I was so happy that I was able to have it, and it's literally authentic. Was reading my Eat While the Ass book while eating the ramen. It was so good. But I got 2 reviews of people who follow me on Twitter. Right now I have the Chip Ahoy's Golden Candy Chip. It just came out at my job, so I think they just released it last week. It's okay. It still tastes like a Chip Ahoy cookie. I think the Golden Candy, I can't get a flavor for it, so I'm thinking it's like the Oreos, vanilla. The Oreos golden kind of cookies. It kind of tastes a little bit like that. I definitely advise drink this with milk. It tastes really good with milk rather than just regular Oreos going with it. And then my last one that I had, I don't have it with me because I ate the whole bag. Was the Kisses strawberry ice cream sundae. And the texture is like pink, like the coloring is pink. And once you put it in and it just melts, it literally tastes like strawberry ice cream.
Oh, man.
And the pieces in it have ice cream cone chips in it. So like the cone, it's wonderful. It's limited edition, so this one is new. They have a birthday cake one that I might have to go back and try and pick up. I keep thinking that we keep getting that one for the holidays, but I don't think we got it for last holiday, so I'll just pick it up and give it a try. But this one is really, really good. I do recommend it getting it, and it's like they got a share bag of it, so you get a lot in. The next one I gotta taste is the Cruncher Munch. They got 2 new flavors. They got a cookie and cream and a fudge brownie Cruncher Munch. So next Nintendo, I would tell you guys all about that. The one last thing I will be talking about also is called Mountain Dew SA, and they mixed the cherry. Yeah, they mixed the cherry Mountain Dew with the white flavor Mountain Dew together, so it's pink, and it
sounded like me when I was 6 years old, just mixing random sugar together to get
That's called a
blasted sugar high.
Isn't that called a suicide where you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this literally says Dew, DEW.S.A. So it's a play on USA, and I'm like, what is this nonsense? And yeah, I will tell you guys all about it next week because I gotta try it again with like ice in it. Because when I brought it, it was warm, and then I gotta try it like straight cold and stuff. But be ready for those.
All I'm gonna say is like you just described it, and I'm not even diabetic, but I felt my blood sugar spike.
I was curious because I was just like cherry Mountain Dew, and of all places, I find this at a Dollar General. Like I don't find it nowhere else.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. The perfect place for people to contract diabetes.
Yes, but that pineapple Mountain Dew
For
is
the
hot.
record, LeRon, your co-host eats donuts and drinks Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I give him all amounts of hell for it.
I think we need a weekly Snacktendo article from Ed. I think that needs to be like a weekly piece.
Oh man, that'd be great.
You want him to horn in on Logan's territory?
Well, Logan told me that he wanted me to do it.
Well, hey, what are you waiting for then?
They just share recipes back and forth, man, for like what
There we go.
they get.
Yes, well, LeRon got on me, I think, when I had my Hyrule Warrior and I had that pizza in my cold red Mountain Dew. I was just like, look, I'm off.
Oh man.
I don't really judge people's eating, but I judge people when they do ridiculous stuff with their eating. Like, for example, like blueberry donuts and a 20-ounce Mountain Dew. It's like, come on, man.
Don't knock
man.
it till you tried it, man.
But hey, that's what we're here for at Snacktendo. But now we're just going to get over to our Game Fact Advance. Jacob, let us know what we're in for.
Yeah, so hopefully this is something that we haven't talked about before. This is more of a system fact advance. Most Nintendo fans are aware that if you hold the Z button while on one controller while you boot up a GameCube, it'll go from the typical ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba to like a very toy, almost kind of Banjo-Kazooie sound when it's running around that GameCube logo. And then also, if you hold all 4 controllers with the Z button down, it'll give you more of like a samurai style sound. It's a very well-known thing, but something that's might not be as known is that the Switch actually kind of throws that back a little bit. I'm gonna try to get this on the sound on the microphone here. But so in handheld mode specifically, when you're at your startup screen, if you push in the left stick, so like as y'all know, you have to hit the A button and then hit the same button 3 times, any button 3 times. If you push in the left stick, hopefully y'all heard that. Maybe yes, no. No,
I didn't hear it.
It went like, did it go like ooh ooh?
Yeah, it makes noises. It makes different noises. Like instead of the typical click, which is that. It's got just different noises, and it's with both of the sticks and the ZL and ZR button. So let's see. Yeah.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard
Yeah.
that.
sound like a horn.
Yeah. And so instead of
Yes,
just like
heard
the
that.
typical click, And I always thought that was kind of neat. I like it when Nintendo throws back to their older consoles and like just little Easter eggs and stuff. And I thought that was appropriate since we just had that new Switch Lite color come out where everyone's like, oh, is it the Game Boy Advance and GameCube color? No, it's blue. No, it's purple. And I was like, well, the Switch does reference the GameCube kind of in another way. So
My mind is blown right now. I didn't know any of that.
It's amazing.
Really?
It's-
David, you did?
I had a
so
GameCube
specific.
and everything. I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you ever
yeah.
if you ever hook a GameCube back up, hold the ZL button on the Player One controller, and then again, there's an extra one if you have all 4 controllers held it plugged in, and hold Z, not ZL, just Z on all of them. It's like it goes like oh, and then the noises are. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
There's a compilation of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
People are doing it of GameCube startups.
Mhm.
Oh my
GameCube-
goodness. That's
I
awesome.
swear, I swear the GameCube startup is probably the best startup I've seen for video games still to this day.
That one and the PlayStation 1 are like the most nostalgic.
Yeah.
All the older systems, because like my personal favorite is the either the Game Boy Advance but the Dreamcast startup. If anyone's ever booted up a
Yeah.
Dreamcast where it does the circle of ding, 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 it's so cool. Yeah,
What
I
about
like
you,
startup
LeRon?
screens.
What about me?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I actually like when those boot ups got simpler. Like PS2's was simple. I loved it, especially if you had like a really loaded memory card in your slot. You see all the cubes stacked up. It looked like a top down of the cityscape and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like I loved how I loved when they started getting simple because PS2, PS3, PS4 had one. And then it was gone. Like they didn't a firmware update happened, and then you just turn your system on, and you see just the PlayStation 4 words, and that's it.
Oh.
PS5 has a nice one. I love it, but my system's always in sleep mode, so I just wake it up and it just does the abbreviated version of it. But I think my favorite one is PS2.
Another great one.
Yeah. I'll make myself the target to the audience. Like I really hated the GameCube startup. Oh god,
You
got
hate
on my nerves.
everything.
Get him
on
off
to the
show.
field tonight.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
We're switching over to 4-man show.
And in all honesty, as much as I love the Dreamcast one was it got on my nerves after a while. Like I mean, when I first got Dreamcast, it was awesome, and then it was just I just want to play my game. But you know what I did love, and it was actually pretty long, the Sega CDs. The Sega CDs boot up. I love that one.
David, did you have a favorite one?
Oh yeah, nothing will ever beat the nostalgia of the Super Nintendo chime for me.
Yeah.
Every time I log into Super Nintendo Online, it just like instant nostalgia. I love that they still play that when you
Yeah.
log into those two apps.
Yeah, which that's another thing. If you have the SNES or NES controllers and you play those apps, they give you different noises as well.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's different.
I'm
There's
gonna have
like
to try that.
retro. It's retro noises and stuff. So there's another reason to buy the NES, which are now. Oh, well, we'll get to that.
Like when it turns on, Jacob, or
Yeah, well, when it turns on and when you're navigating the menu screen.
yeah, because
yeah.
I always use my retro controllers. So.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sweet. Yeah, I like the I grew up as a Sonic kid, so anytime I hear the Sega that one gets me.
One last thing for me. When GameCube came out, I got Phantasy Star Online for the GameCube because I loved it on the Dreamcast, and it made me so upset that it booted up the Sega logo, but they didn't say Sega, and so every time I booted that game, I would say it to myself. So I was like, I want it. They need to say it.
About the vocal chime came from the Sega Master System.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
when the Sega Master came out, it'd be like ooh, and then they'll go into the game.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm such a historian. I had too many systems.
So before we wrap up, Jacob, just real quick, can you give us the buttons you have to press at what time?
Oh, yes, yeah. So on the Switch, when you only in handheld mode, which is why it's not very specific, whenever you hit the A button and you see the press the same button 3 times logo, you can either hit the left stick in, the right stick in, the ZR or the ZL button, and each of those will do a different and unique sound compared to the regular just A button click.
Nice. That's awesome. That blew my mind. Before we get into the family news, I just want to give a couple of quick shout outs. Thank you, Shane and Stephanie, for being on the podcast last week. You guys were great. Thanks to AK Munger on Discord. She gave us good feedback about last week's episode and especially loved Ed's quote, "Not today, Satan," when it came to downloading it. A batch. And thank you to Judaism on Apple Podcasts for giving us a 5-star review. So, hey, we'd love to hear from you guys. Reviews are great. Come to our Discord. Let us know what you think of the show. And we hope to hear from you soon. So, David, take it away for news.
All right. Thanks, Dan. So we got a packed news schedule here. So our first story is Square Enix joins the growing list of companies making announcements at E3 2021. So this is from Brian over at NintendoEverything.com. Quote, CEO Yusuke Matsuda confirmed to Nikkei that the company is planning announcements for this year's E3. Naturally, he didn't elaborate as to what's in store. E3 2021 will take place between June 12th and June 15th. Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Bros. Games, and Koch Media are all confirmed for the show outside of Square Enix. So for our panel, and this certainly generated a lot of conversation this morning, what are you hoping for from Square Enix? Conspicuously absent from this growing list are EA and Sony. Will this be a missed opportunity for these companies if they don't participate? So I want to start with LeRon on this one. I suspect you might have something to say about this. What's your reaction to the news that Square Enix joins, and where are Sony and EA?
Okay. Well, with the Square Enix joining, I feel like Square Enix was going to be like, basically part of E3 anyway. So like when they initially came out with the first list of people that were of companies that were going to be represented there, I was like, okay, Square Enix is not there, but I'm pretty sure they were coming and things like that. EA is kind of surprising though that they're absent from E3, given that E3 has been like a gold mine for EA, like over the years. Like, I mean, EA had such a big presence. Like they used to have their own stage show and basically like a presser, with other people. Or I mean, with other. Well, they had their own press, and then they would wind up in other people's press releases because like certain systems would get like the marquee title. Like, 1 year Xbox would have Madden, the next year Sony would have Madden, and it'd be like one of those floor things. So I'm kind of surprised that, EA hasn't really like stepped up yet, but that doesn't mean that they're not coming. Because I mean, as far as I can tell, like it's still open to anyone that wants to jump in last minute and things like that. Now, Sony, what I will say about Sony's been doing this for a while now. Well, they weren't one of the initial ones that stepped out of like stopped doing pressers and having their presence at E3, but Sony seems to be more consistent about not being at E3 and some of these big shows. As a matter of fact, I don't think Sony even had a presence at Gamescom, which is another big one.
No, they have they've been having, so when they miss E3, they do Tokyo Game Show.
Okay, well, Tokyo Game Show, yeah, but Tokyo Game Show is, in their home territory.
Yeah,
but these ones on foreign soil, like Gamescom is in Germany, E3 of course is in the United States, and some of these other ones, like Sony's pulled out of them and they've done their own thing. And so like I'm still not surprised that Sony hasn't like put their name up on the list for E3. I'm not really surprised. Sony just like the other Japanese publisher, like they tend to march to the beat of their own drum.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the thing that blows my mind is, like, E3, especially as a digital event, is free advertisement right now. Sony's still going to put out a state of play, right? So why not do it with the rest of the other companies? Because if you put your state of play out there and someone who's watching a Nintendo broadcast or a Ubisoft broadcast who doesn't usually play any Sony games, they see the state of play come on next, something might catch their eye that they wouldn't normally watch on a state of play the next week on a Thursday. So like in my eyes, you're wasting an opportunity to have eyes that don't usually watch your product watch it then. So like if you don't have to pay money for it, I only see cons to skipping a digital E3 event for Sony, Square, and all these people versus pros. But hey, that's just my opinion.
And LeRon brings up a comparison to Nintendo, right? Marching to the beat of their own drum, but Nintendo's doing the show, right? Like Nintendo's going to have their direct there. So it seems like, if that is sort of a valid comparison, I agree with Dan that they're missing out on the free advertising there. Jacob, what about you? Do you have any expectations out of Square Enix or things that you're hoping for in this?
Yeah, I want to see Kingdom Hearts Collection come to Switch. I'm sick and tired of it not being there.
Why is it not on the Switch?
I know.
That's my question. The Switch seems like the perfect place for it to be.
If The Witcher 3 can run on the Switch, even looking like hot garbage, so can Kingdom Hearts 3. So just put it there. I don't care. I don't care if it looks like garbage.
So I think that one might had been a contractual aspect with Square Enix, because there's more games of the Kingdom Hearts series on Nintendo products than there is on Sony. Like Sony only has, out of the main series, they only have 4, 1 to 3, and Birth by Sleep, where most of like the side games and stuff is on Nintendo systems. So maybe that's why. I agree with you, Jacob, though. With it, I'm sorry to cut in. Do you have any more to say before I go?
Nothing that's not gonna cause controversy. So
just hold on. Just to add on to the Kingdom Hearts thing, though, like Kingdom Hearts 3 is on PlayStation and Xbox. So why is it not on Nintendo?
Squaresoft decided to dog us and give us Saga Frontier.
Because I think
Dan's got some rage about that.
Yeah, I think because of that music game that they was making. Probably.
Jacob,
I don't know. That's weird.
Did you? Let's get Jacob. But did you have any thoughts on Sony skipping out?
I have to avoid this to avoid controversy and making this like an hour-long topic. So.
No, please.
Are you sure? We can ban them from responding. Go ahead. Just give us your quick.
Okay, so here's where Sony doesn't march to a beat of their own drum. Sony takes the drum from another player, then adds a hi-hat. I have not respected Sony.
$2.99 for it.
I have not respected Sony since my GameStop days when I worked at GameStop, because I went to their press conference. Like, they invited GameStop managers to their press conference about the PlayStation Move. And as a to learn more, me and my other manager brought along the Nintendo Wii press conference, and I kid you not, word for word, except for where it said like Nintendo specific branding and Sony specific branding, they had the exact same conference. And so I was like, we literally, and I feel bad about it because like full stop, we got a free PS3 and Move thing app for going. So like, I feel bad about it, but I was just like, I can't. We were having such a hard time not laughing while they were talking about it, because it was like,
I hate you right now because like I was an assistant manager for GameStop that year that they got free PS3s, and then the next year I got promoted.
Yeah,
so you should hate Sony even more.
Yeah, you really should. But no, so like ever since then, it's been nonstop for them. Like every time they do something, I'm always like, yeah, but Microsoft and Xbox did that a while, or Microsoft and Nintendo did that a little while ago. Like, and Xbox does this too, right? And Nintendo does this too. They all kind of cheat off of each other. But anytime anyone, for any of them, say like, oh, well, they're the beat of their own drum. Even Nintendo, Sony specifically hits like a chord for me because I'm like, yeah, but they stole the press conference. Like,
well, David, before we leave, can I just give my quick?
Make it quick at it, and don't stir up LeRon, or we'll never. No.
It's mostly about the Square thing. It's mostly about the Square thing. So, just to remind everybody, Square Enix did do a presentation earlier in this year. I have a recap on it on Boss Rush. You guys can check it out. They did say they was doing a second one later on in the year, so this is probably the continuation of it. With it,
I hope this one's better than that one they put out last month.
Lord! All right, we gotta move it on. But real quick, Ed.
And so they're probably, for game wise, they probably show more of the Life is Strange games and Forspoken, and probably a little bit more of the Taylor stuff that they show. So I'm interested to see.
Those are your predictions.
Yeah, because that's what that was the sort of stuff that they showed because everything else was already out. So they may show some new stuff. We'll definitely be looking at it. We might miss Boss Rush that day, the podcast, because it's at 12 o'clock. That Saturday for their press conference,
Okay.
I think. So we might be
Well-
watching that. So.
We love the passion. So our next story, this is from Matt TM Kim out of IGN. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles officially announced for PS4, Switch, and PC. Quote, Capcom has announced that it is bringing The Great Ace Attorney and its sequel worldwide in a new collection called The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles bundles together 2015's The Great Ace Attorney and its 2017 sequel together in a single package that will be released on July 27, 2021 for PS4, Switch, PC via Steam. Both games were previously Japan exclusive 3DS games. So, Jacob, we'll start with you. What are your reactions to this news? Does this suggest that more previously Japan-only titles will be headed out west? Is this kind of a one-off thing? Where are you at with this news?
I think it would probably be more of a one-off thing. I know that the Great Ace Attorney fans are like really passionate about that series. I have the trilogy on Switch and I've yet to play it and I want to play it, but I don't see this as being just like a standard move for all series and all stuff in that has been stuck in Japan. But I do think it's cool because like if you don't have something new, that's when I want to see stuff come out, right? If they don't have anything new coming, reach into your back catalog and remaster, bring something that hasn't been brought to the States, to Europe, and kind of give people a little bit of like a crumb of something, because Lord knows, like, we're a Nintendo podcast, Kid Icarus, Metroid, there's so many series out there that have had nothing.
Right.
F-Zero. So like, give people a crumb. And so I can appreciate this, but I don't think it's like an overall just everything's going to start flooding in.
LeRon, we've talked in the past about certain JRPGs coming out west because of the demand for it out here. So there is some precedence in the past of, certain supply and demand in the west causing some of these Japan exclusives to come over. Do you see this with the Great Ace Attorney being connected to that in any way, or are we seeing any shifting policy by these companies?
I see it more of the former and not so much the latter. I'm in agreement with Jacob. I feel like this may more or less be a one-off thing, and it could just be they're just testing some things out, and stuff like that, just to see how it goes. Capcom has gotten very meticulous about what they will and will not release now. From their back catalog. As you notice, they've slowed down on all the Street Fighter collections. You've noticed that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've gotten.
Are you making a prediction there, LeRon?
No, actually, no. If anything, Capcom is really like they're really invested in some of their blockbuster titles, as well as some of their new and upcoming IPs and stuff like that. So this right here, I think, is more of like just a way to pad and keep people interested in the game, quote unquote, more or less than just they're going to bring out their old school catalog. Because if they're going to bring out their old school catalog, I as a loyal Capcom fan, I will start spending money.
And I know that you're really passionate about this game. What was your reaction to the news? And are there any other Japan-only exclusives that you would like to see come on over?
Yes. So I was super excited for this game because we got, I've been, Phoenix Wright fan since I brought it on 3D on the DS when it was in a bargain bin at GameStop for $20, and it blew up everywhere. And so everybody was expecting the game to come over originally for 3DS, and Capcom didn't bring it. So now we all American in the West finally get a chance to play this game because you couldn't import it because the game wasn't going to be localized or anything. So I'm excited to finally play it. Now they just need to bring out the Ace Attorney collection that I also have, but they need to bring that and Miles Edgeworth too, because that's another Capcom game that they didn't bring out from Japan. More exclusive stuff coming out for Japan, I would love to see. But if I can't see it, because of we own the Switch and it's region free, which is now could get import Japanese like switch it over and be able to play that game. Like Chemical, I think that's the name, was an indie game for $5. People were getting the eShop for Japan to play that game before it came here. So even if we don't get it, if we find it on the eShop and we could get eShop points to buy that game, we'll switch it over. But if it does come to the West, come on, Captain Rainbow, Nintendo. I need that game so bad. And go ahead, give me the Tinkle game, because there are some games that Nintendo has a release. We got the Famicom Detectives coming that I never knew of. So I'm excited to see more of this. And if Capcom got some games that we've never got, bring it. Literally bring them. We as Nintendo fans are willing to buy it. Day one. So
And
yeah, I'm
man.
looking forward to more.
Ed, I love that you're a Captain Rainbow fan. I love me some fat Little Mac.
I've been wanting that game ever since
Me too.
I've seen it.
Me too.
Ed, did you mention the Tingle games? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Oh, so I bought Tingle's Rosy Ruby Land, and it's of course all in Japanese, and it won't work on my 3DS. Apparently, you have to have like a standard like DS for it to work, which I'm super bummed about. So, yeah, I'd love to have that one come out. All right, well, this next story is interesting. Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice, out on Nintendo Switch next month. This is from Alex Seedhouse at NintendoInsider.com. Quote, Assemble Entertainment and Crazy Bunch have confirmed a release date for Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice on Nintendo Switch. The point-and-click adventure picks up after the events of the last game, where the heartsick hero, Larry Laffer, was left stranded, ready to leave his single life behind. Wet Dreams Dry Twice was a big hit on the PC, and it's our pleasure to finally share the even cheekier adventures of Larry with console players, enthuses Assemble Entertainment CEO Stefan Marcinek. There's a charm to this series that keeps players coming back again and again. Larry's latest quest might be his most important of all. Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice will release at retail and on the Nintendo eShop for the Switch worldwide May 18th, 2021. So, for consideration here, is there a market for adult games on Switch? Does this clash with Nintendo's family-friendly brand, or does it prove that Nintendo is more than it gets pigeonholed as? Ed, what do you think about this?
Okay, so there is a place for it because we already have visual novels and other Japanese games on here that they're not hentai games, but they they got the big boobs and they got, the anime girls looking all sexy and stuff like that. Kind of playful on that stuff. So I think with Leisure Suit Larry coming on, if you don't know the history, this is kind of like the intro to this for people to go back and like play some of those old games and really see some of the loot stuff that those games were about and everything. It kind of does fit in with Nintendo's way of how doing Switch, because they said they don't believe in censoring stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
They changed their focus to be like, hey, if you want to, when Nintendo is not censoring stuff and PlayStation is, that's a big wide open question to be like, wait, what? You thought it would be vice versa, but I think it's going to fit on the Switch, and we won't get more lewd games like this because that was kind of a genre on the PC, like lewd adventures and stuff. I don't think we're going to get anything too sexy or AO and stuff, but if it's like really playful and at least the imagination up to you of what's really going on, I think it's going to be a respectable place. Now, if it controls terribly, then you can rag on it and everything and just be like, okay, yeah, we know this was a good idea, but your game is still questionable content and not in the thematic way, in the gameplay way. But I can see more stuff coming in like this. And also, there's just been a hit with PC games coming to Switch. So if PC games are more, we're going to get more PC games coming to Switch. Why not something like this?
LeRon, you've said on previous podcasts that you love Nintendo, but then you grew up. Does this make you have to walk that back a little bit? Is Nintendo not just the sort of kid system that sometimes you make it out to be, or does this prove that Nintendo's maybe a little bit more open? What do you think? And to Ed's point there, why is it that Sony's censoring things and Nintendo's not?
Okay, well, let me answer the question about Nintendo and this game first. Okay, first of all, I want to say that Nintendo has actually surprised me almost every turn with what they've done with the Switch. Like this policy they have, like I really applaud it, because I mean, in all seriousness, like this is the stuff they were doing in the past is the reason why I would say I outgrew Nintendo. Like there was just basically a point where they were putting down stuff that I was no longer interested in picking up. Of course, it was like a Metroid title or like a really interesting Mario title, stuff like that. Of course, I would pick it up and things like that. But like I said, like I kind of outgrew Nintendo and their brand. So like it's been refreshing to see games I thought I would never see on a Nintendo system with the Switch. Like for example, like Alien Resurrection is on this. I mean, Alien is
Isolation.
Isolation, thank you. I just watched Resurrection the weekend. That's why
I did too.
Oh, that's so good. Such a good movie. I love that movie.
We're gonna have to talk about that later because I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah,
but you were saying, LeRon.
Yeah, but games like Alien Isolation is on the Switch. The Witcher is on the Switch. Games that basically have like that were not really a factor, on previous Nintendo systems, or are showing up on the Switch, and I love it. So it's one of those things where yeah, like. I'm surprised that a game like Leisure Suit Larry is out there. Now, that being said, Leisure Suit Larry is not my type of game. As a matter of fact, I outgrew that game, by the time I hit my 20s. Now, about Sony.
Before you go, LeRon, David, there's a game called Sexy Poker that came on WiiWare on the Wii. You need to look it up, everybody, and just...
Why do you need to look up Sexy Poker? You know what it is.
You know what it is. You know what it is.
Because it was a take from a cell phone game. And thinking of Leisure Suit Larry, I'm like, oh, a dog game, the dog games like this. I'm like, oh, forgot they were on WiiWare back in the day on the Wii, if you could find it. So go ahead, LeRon. I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
No, that's cool. I was actually trying to. When Ed mentioned, I was trying to think of like what are they censoring on Sony, because I mean, yeah, there's like this big deal, like like apparently they reduced Tifa's cup size, in Final Fantasy VII Remake and stuff like that. But for the most part, like I'm not really sure of like all the censorship and stuff, because I don't know, like we still have some pretty like wild and crazy games out there, on PlayStation, like even on the PS5, like there's some stuff that's like, whoa, so I don't know. Like if you guys can give me an example, maybe I'll look it up later.
I have to find out. There was a story about some anime game that was coming to Switch and PlayStation, and they said PlayStation.
There's some. I feel like if you could dig deep in the Switch library, there's that Catherine Full Body game that came out, which is
that's not adult. It's
not
adult. No, it's got like. It's got
I don't know
hints.
what it is. So.
It's got like hints. It's a puzzle game. It's actually a really great puzzle game by Atlas. You should check it out. It's super good.
Wasn't there like some penny game Wasn't there like some penny game that you shoot the girls?
Yeah, there's a ton of adult games. There's a game that the whole premise is that it's one of those storytelling games where the whole premise is that you're trying to collect panties from like different people that you talk to. Yeah, there's a whole ton of adult games. Sorry.
So let me ask you this then.
Catherine, I like Catherine a lot.
But it's also just funny too, because like I look at this game and like LeRon said, he outgrew things. Like I look at like a game like this that we're talking about. I'm like, I'm too old to play that shit. But then then I'll go and play Captain Toad and be so happy.
Me too. Me too. Like it's like. Okay, the perfect way to sum it up is like I'm a big kid at heart, but I'm not stupidly immature. and stuff like this, it was just like I remember working at GameStop when people were snatching up copies of GTA 3 off the shelf because they want to run that hot coffee code and stuff like that. And I'm like, you guys really? Like we have the internet, guys. You don't need a video game for this.
Oh,
so let me ask you this, guys, really quick. So why now? Why is this coming out now? Why is this the right time for a port to the Switch? Jacob, you got thought on that?
Yeah, well, so I actually wanted to bring out the fact that the first game, Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. is on the Switch. So this is actually just the sequel that's coming to the Switch. They've already put it on there, and again, I haven't played that game. I listened to Go Nintendo podcast who did play. They did like a whole thing on it. They actually got sponsored by the game, and it's actually kind of interesting. It has to do with like Larry has to deal with, like, he was frozen, I think, and then comes into the 21st century and has to deal with like dating apps and like all these other weird things that are going on now. But it's, I think it's really just like the company that makes this game was like, you know what, we've got the time, let's port it because it'll, our previous one did well. This one should do well as also. It's adult games are really not, adult games not made by Nintendo are really not like a new thing on Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
And also, we're in kind of a lull for new content, and we're about to get a bunch of new content. So in terms of like the right time to release something, this seems like possibly business-wise like a smart move for them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a lot going on, so just drop it in.
And like I said,
those sexy Parodius games or whatever they were called, wasn't that on the Nintendo system too?
no, Sexy Parodius is not on Switch yet. Everybody's waiting for it to come. It's not on there yet.
Everybody.
Everybody.
All right. We're going to move on to our last story, guys, and I think you'll have a lot to say about this one as well. So Capcom will broadcast another Monster Hunter live stream actually not next week, tomorrow. Excuse me. This is from Liam Doolan at NintendoLife.com. So following on from a series of broadcasts last month, Capcom has announced it will now air another Monster Hunter digital event on the 27th of April. It will be live streamed on Twitch and YouTube at 11 p.m. in Japan, 3 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. in Europe, and 7 a.m. Pacific time in the US. According to Gamatsu, Monster Hunter Rise fans will receive information about the game's first free title update, featuring new monsters such as Chameleos and Apex Rathalos. There will also be an update about the upcoming release Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, which is due out in this July. So we'll start with our Hunters for Hire panel here first. So LeRon, what do you make of yet another live stream for Monster Hunter Rise from Capcom? At this point, should Capcom be considered the best studio of 2021 given all they've accomplished and what they have on the calendar? What do you think, LeRon?
I think Capcom is definitely a contender for best studio for 2021 so far. As a matter of fact, I feel like they were best studio for 2020 and 2019 as well. But I might have a slight bias because like practically every game Capcom released over the last couple of years, starting with Mega Man 11, I bought them. So Mega Man 11, Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Iceborne, Devil May Cry 5, freaking Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, stuff like that. And now I've got Rise, and I'm getting Wings of Ruin. So Capcom is on a roll right now, and I'm here for it. The Monster Hunter news drop, it actually comes at they could have brought this out earlier, if I'm being honest, because they did a teaser that, hey, like Chameleos is coming and Apex Rathalos is coming for the Rampage modes. But what a lot of us are interested in right now is what are those additional monsters that are actually set, because there's actually Chameleos, Apex Rathalos, and it says additional monsters will also be revealed and stuff like that. Now, I'm not sure if they're actually going to like say anything about it on the stream, but there's always pleasant surprises behind it. So yeah, I'm amped. I'm excited, and like I said, this is coming at the perfect time because like a lot of people have already hit endgame for Rise, so there's actually a vacuum for new content for Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter has been doing a content thing. They've been doing a content release pretty well since Monster Hunter World came out.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to watch a lot of the American players who are I say new to the game, new to the series. They come from World specifically, and they're not used to the idea of having a base game and then like a G game, an ultimate game. And so it's been interesting to see a lot of people kind of complaining that there's not been a lot to do. But for this first month, like if you've run out of stuff to do, that's because you're crazy like me and you've put over 200 hours into the game. And even then, you really haven't run out of things to do because you could always craft new weapons and new armor. So like,
exactly.
don't even come at me. But
you know what? I will say that too. Like, if you unless you've crafted every weapon and every piece of armor in the game, you really can't say that the game has ran out of content for you.
yeah, there's always reason. The whole point of the game is to fight monsters. There's always a reason to fight monsters. If you're getting tired of those monsters, that's a different story. But you're not out of content. You're just bored with the content that you have. I'm guessing that this is going to be like an Elder Dragon drop. I think that the word on the street is that there's a lot of Elder Dragons besides Chameleos, like Teostra and Kushala Daora coming.
In this drop?
In this drop. That's the word. That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
That would be interesting, considering we only have 2 Elder Dragons in the original game.
Yeah, and they're brand new Elder Dragons as well.
Yeah.
But as far as Capcom being like a contender for 2021, I definitely think they could be, but I also think that they've just done a much better job than other developers at being vocal. I think a lot of other developers are waiting for E3 to be able to say, like, we have the back half of the year fully packed for y'all. Sorry we've been so quiet on the front half of the year. But I do think that should be awarded to Capcom, though, in that they have been vocal and they have been kind of piecemealing everything so that the entire year has Capcom content rather than just everything backloaded. But Dan, what about you? You've been playing a bunch of Monster Hunter with us. I say a bunch, but you've been playing Monster Hunter.
Well, I mean, I can't really say much about Monster Hunter because I've learned literally everything about Monster Hunter from you, LeRon, and Ed. So, but what I can say is, like, seeing what Capcom has done, like, between, reviving Ghouls and Ghosts, all the Monster Hunter content that's absolutely killing it right now. Resident Evil Village is coming out and the Ace Attorney. Like, no other company is really doing what Capcom is doing right now. So to me, nobody's better than them right now. And like LeRon said,
and an expansion to Street Fighter 5 is coming.
Yeah, exactly. And like LeRon said, like, they've been killing it for years. And I'm actually even going to extend it and say they've been the best company for 30 years. So,
Wow.
I didn't.
Holy
cow.
The bulk of my gaming entertainment has come from Capcom.
Absolutely.
I will say
Mega Man, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, they just kill it. So, they're just continuing to kill it, and they continue. I mean, they're probably the only company that's lasted even close to longer than 10 years. So good for Capcom.
Go ahead, LeRon.
I was going to say, we know Capcom's the GOAT. They published 3 Zelda games for Nintendo back in their day.
Words out of my mouth. I was just going to say they're the only third-party company to really successfully produce Zelda games and to do them well. So
mainline Zelda games.
Mainline, yeah, correct. We don't talk about those other ones, Jacob. Okay. Ed, what do you think?
Capcom is a weird thing in a sense, and I'm glad that when we see this Monster Hunter thing, that they've really been pushing Monster Hunter, giving these kind of showcase and directs and letting people know what's coming new. Because I don't think they did a lot of this with World, or with past Monster Hunter. So now they did. I feel like them pushing it and really showcasing that they're dedicated to Monster Hunter Rise and what's coming up. It's really good that they're getting that viewership, that this game is getting seen and marketed. As for Capcom being one of the best publishers, I think they're probably right now the best third-party Japanese publisher and developer, because don't forget, Capcom had a downturn before they got big again. All the way that Resident Evil 6 was taken, Dark Void on the 360, they had some hard times, and there was a point of time people was thinking, who's going to buy Capcom with all that rumor and that speculation. But once Resident Evil 7 came out and that RE engine showed what it could do, that turned everything around for Capcom. And Capcom kind of figured out I think I wrote a piece on this, or I'm writing one, that Konami. That's what I'm
Konami. You wrote one on Konami. Yeah.
That Capcom is kind of like realizing, we need Nintendo more than ever. We've seen that the system's been successful. Stuff we put out on Nintendo has made a success, and now we can have it on both worlds. We can have success on Microsoft, PC, and PlayStation, but also have success on Nintendo's platform. You know, and don't forget
So-
Nintendo and Capcom used to rock it back in the NES days. So kind of getting that feeling back with a lot of their games out, Capcom has to put themselves in the greatest position that they ever been.
Ed, who else then would? Because you said that they're the greatest sort of Japanese publisher of game, but who else would be in competition with them for you
It's
then?
completely is Nintendo. Because Nintendo's has
Okay,
been
just as
Nintendo literally from 2017. Nintendo has been releasing hits. Don't forget Nintendo. Yes,
You said third party though. Who would be another third party?
another third party. Right now at this time, I would probably put it Bandai Namco as it, because the way that Dragon Ball Fighter Z is doing, the way that people got excited for Tales of Rise announcement, and them working with doing Smash, and just like Bandai Namco has kind of been a hit like company with them. For Western developers, sadly that I have to give it to like. I kind of, for American developers, I kind of had to give it to Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch, because they have Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 are phenomenal games, and they have been knocking it out. So I will give them props to it. Other than that, it's just going to be indie developers like the people who make Shovel Knight, Yacht Club. The people who made the not Yoga Island, that Banjo Kazooie kind of inspired game.
Ukulele.
So, hold on, Ed. So you're not giving it to Project CD Red?
That's so trolling.
CD Project Red has to
take that seriously, Ed.
I know.
I'm just messing with you, Ed. No, I appreciate the passion at it, and I agree with you overall. If you talk about just pure publishers of games, I think Nintendo probably has to be on top. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree as far as third party goes that you have to give that to Capcom. Gentlemen, it was an awesome panel discussing the news. Dan, we're going to wrap it up and give it back over to you.
Awesome, thank you, David. So now we're going to get into our doc mode, where we're going to talk a little bit about prices of games and are we paying too much for video games? We were talking about this over in our community on Discord and on our Twitter, but we were thinking about, breaking down the anatomy of a video game and talking about, are we spending too much for a game? So realistically right now, any new game that comes out, we're going to use a Switch for example, is $60. Every game that comes out, if it's first party, it's going to be on physical and digital, but both games are going to be worth the same amount, even though it doesn't take the same amount, or maybe it does, to put into making a physical and digital copy. So we're going to talk a little bit about games, how much they cost, and we're going to ask ourselves, is it too much to pay $60 for a game? Jacob, you've been really passionate about this one, and you've really been holding in your opinions for like 2 weeks, and I have to hear them. Kick it off.
Y'all are tripping if you think that you're paying too much for a video game, okay? Games used to be $80. They've dropped in price.
No. Neo Geo games used to be $200 for a $600 system.
Y'all are tripping. Cost of making games have gone up. And game prices have stayed at $60. Mobile games have stayed at $40, typically, like on the DS, 3DS days. And full disclosure, I'm all digital. I have a 1 terabyte memory card in my Switch, and I have like 400 gigabytes of that thing left. I don't buy physical games unless I have to buy physical games, like Nintendo Labo. If anything, the people who buy digital should be paying less than the people who buy physical, unless it's a used game. Because there's so much more money that goes into putting a physical game that the company has to pay. That's why there's things like Switch tax where it's like, oh well, it's $60. They can't just this game came out 3 years ago on the Xbox and it was $60 and now I can buy it for $10, but on the Switch it's $60. No. That's because they still have to make it on a cartridge. They still have to do stuff that people have to get paid. So, and we're continuing to pay $60 for a game. It should be like, honestly, it should probably be closer to $120 right now. If you look at, I'd have to look and do actual math, but if you look at like how time has progressed and cost to make games has progressed, it should be way up there. And people are complaining that they're paying too much. No, y'all are crazy. Y'all don't shut your mouth because you're gonna make us pay more.
Well, what is it about it that you're telling me we need to pay $120 for a game, but then they're able to turn around and sell it for $60? How does that work?
Because it's a consumer supply and demand thing. You can't. I mean, I think it was PlayStation and Microsoft started talking about releasing their games for $70, and the internet, the population of gamers went nuts, and that's $10. People were super mad about it, and that's $10. They can't just start hiking up prices. We're in like this set mind frame, and that's why I'm like, the more people discuss this, the more it's gonna come back to bite you in the butt.
So I don't think we're paying too much. I think we're paying a right price, whether it's physical or digital. But definitely when it comes to Nintendo, you kind of know that if you don't get the game at that time, it may be years till you get a chance to play this game again. And if anyone is selling their physical version, they're going to jack up the price, trying to get it. So if you don't get it at first print, I don't know what else to say about that. And I think a lot of people think about licensing versus the actual copy, because yes, you could buy the game on the eShop, but if they lose the license or they take it off the eShop and you can't download it no more, they already got your $60. LeRon, you've been talking about cloud gaming, I think, and how it's kind of a concern and stuff. In a sense, I'm like, well, that's kind of almost like just regular games on the digital format. If they want to take a game off, they physically can, and if you take it off your system and you can't re-download it, you already lose out on money. So that physical version, having it is guaranteed to be like, hey, at least I can still pop my game in and play. That's why more people on Nintendo consoles really go out and buy the physical version, because if anything happens to that game on the eShop or anything, they won't have a chance to play. And plus, people like to collect stuff, and so having that physical media, they would like to collect it. So paying $60, it's a very reasonable. I would say $40 to $60 or anything. And I know a lot of people don't like the Nintendo pricing stuff, but I'm just like, they gotta make that money. I was telling Dana, like, sometimes it depends on the marketing and it depends on how long that game got delayed.
Can I just jump in really quick? Yeah.
Go.
So I one thing that I would say, I think artists should be paid, and if it was actually guaranteed that the increase in sales price would go towards people making the games, I'm all for it. Unfortunately, companies often just pad their bottom line and artists still don't get paid, and that bothers me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The other thing I would just add to it, I don't think digital should be cheaper than physical, just because it would really mess over physical retailers if if people could just basically undercut them. But if companies are going to pull digital stores and not allow you to re-download stuff, that's where I can be a little bit more sympathetic to this idea that it should be cheaper. So I'll leave it at that, but those are my 2 cents.
LeRon, what do you think?
Okay, I am 100% agreeing with my partner from Hunters for Hire. $60 and $70, that is not a big ask. Because I remember when I had to buy Final Fantasy 3 for Super NES, I spent $90 damn for that game. Chrono Trigger was $80.
Wasn't Fantasy Star the same thing?
Yeah.
Like $80?
Yeah.
On the Sega Genesis, yeah.
If games followed price, we'd be paying way more than we currently do. If they followed like actual trends.
Yeah, and if games are definitely going off of inflation,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So everybody that's yelling and complaining, you're spending $40 for a cartridge based game for a handheld. You're spending $60 and $70 for a disc or a digital release on a current system. That's nothing. That's nothing. You guys didn't live when you had to basically like hawk your rent to play a really popular game. All right. Now I'm also in agreement with David on this. Digital games should match the same price as physical. If we're gonna drive down the cost of digital games, we need to drive down the cost of physical games. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's not fair to a certain consumer. Like some people just don't have hard drive space, so they are forced to buy a physical game and things of that nature. Even though I know physical copies do take up hard drive space on your system, but still, like you can't drive. I would love for digital games to be cheaper, but what I want is for digital games to match when the price of physical games come down, because we see it a lot on. We see it a lot on these marketplaces where I can walk into GameStop and Walmart and Target and all these places, and a game like Ghost of Tsushima is not $30 right now. I'm just saying it. Ghost of Tsushima will be on their shelves brand new for $30, but when I go to the marketplace for that game digital, it is still full price, and it's like, hold on, we need to have consistency across the board. That's one of the things.
Nintendo guilty about that. Nintendo about that.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah,
But
So I just wanted to ask you guys, because we're talking about digital versus physical. It seems like there's a lot more that goes into a physical copy. The production, the manufacturing, the marketing. LeRon, you used to work at GameStop. So did you, Jacob. You know that there's also returning fees with it.
Yes.
So, this kind of brings me back to what Jacob was saying earlier, where games should cost like $120. Do you think that the reason digital games are staying the same price as physical games is to make up that money that should be made on physical games, or is there kind of a difference?
That's a good question.
Can I actually jump on this before you guys go? So working at Toys, we sold a lot of physical over digitals because for parent-wise, they did not want to put their credit card in that system for their kids to buy games. You already see what the problems is going on with EA and everything with that. So parents rather avoid all of that. They rather just go into the store and buy the game. Call of Duty was like this big time. If they were going to buy it, or they was going to have their kid have Call of Duty, they wasn't going to get it physical. They literally was going to go get it. Digital. They was going to get it physical and everything. So
we saw the same thing at GameStop too. Like parents are not just going to put their credit card number into any. It doesn't even matter if it's a console. Like they wouldn't put their credit card numbers in PCs. For like just a random run the mill stuff. But I think ultimately, with Dan's question, I don't actually have a real answer for why the digital prices stay high even when the physical come down. Because first of all, last time I bought a physical copy of a game, you got the case, you got the disc, and you got the cover art. You don't even get the instructions. You barely get the card that, if you bought the deluxe edition, you barely get the card that says hey, here's your download code. They send you to a website so you can get your code.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the real gap is between why the pricing on digital is what it is, because in all seriousness, I know it costs now I think 12 cents now to print a Blu-ray disc for a game now. I believe so. It's something ridiculous, because you go buy a blank Blu-ray in the store, it's still freaking expensive. But I'm not sure what that's about. It is a possibility that this is their way to recoup restocking fees whenever someone does return a copy and things like that. That's why I was that's a very phenomenal question you ask. But my whole thing is in all seriousness, physical releases should actually be more expensive than digital releases, just based off of what the time and the process that goes into it. They have to ship this stuff out, they have to package it, they have to do all this and that into it. They should technically be more expensive. And for a while, when Microsoft was talking that big game and carrying a big stick with the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, I really thought that Microsoft was going to make a move and push digital to a cheaper price to start phasing out physical. I really thought it was because they were really about Xbox Live Marketplace and all this stuff, and I was like, ooh, we might just see digital only on freaking Xbox real soon here. But you know, it hasn't gone that way. But now they have Game Pass, which is a digital marketplace that you know, like you spend like 15 at best, you spend $15 and you're getting all these games.
One thing you do have to factor with retail, that the retail store itself got to get its cut from selling that game.
Right.
So they'll make up that cut when they sell digital for it. So let's say Target gets like $5 for it. If they were selling Dead Cells at $29 and Dead Cells at the store, that company who makes it is going to receive less from the physical, but like maybe full profit from digital. So whatever they miss it out on physical, they'll make it up on digital because of that.
That's
cut.
true. That's
Right.
true.
But like at this point, you know, the price of new games has been about $60 for so long. It seems like kind of an arbitrary number at this point. So, you know, if they do increase prices on games $10 or $20, like, do you think that would actually take away from sales? Because as gamers, we're so used to this. I mean, LeRon, I had to twist your arm and break it behind your head to get you to buy Fire Emblem. And then it went on sale 2 weeks later.
It went on sale for half the price that I bought it for, and now it seems like anytime I walk into a store, it is $30, and I'm like, did this game just take a permanent price drop? Because I am really upset right now. No, I know it's regular price because after like the Mario 3D edition came off the shelves and they stopped being in print. Like I know it's all Nintendo Switch games went back up to their regular MSRP.
Yeah, so I mean, David, what did you think about that?
Well, I was just gonna go. I was really kind of ruminating on this idea of games being $120 each, and you know, I had this thought that if games cost $120, we would all finish our backlogs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember when you weren't the one paying for a game, your parents were, and so you had to beat the game.
Yeah.
That's what would happen. Is backlogs would disappear. Like that would just be the thing because no one wants to go out and just drop $120 every week for a new game. Sorry, David, was that the last point of your?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I was just thinking that I felt like a politician running on a proposal to fix a social ill that all backlog.
I do want to kind of reiterate something that you did say though, David, is that so I'm very passionate about this, obviously. I would 100% not want to see the prices go up I would want to see the prices go up if I knew that the money was going to the people who make the games and not the people who already are pocketing so much money. And that's a whole different topic of like greed and corruption. But I did want to say that, so I'm going to get crucified for this, man.
Go for it.
Physical people who are champions of physical games. I love Ed. I love and appreciate you so much. I hope that you and Ed is actually, I think, an exception to this in a lot of ways. But I would love to find someone who has every single physical game that they have ever bought throughout their entire life and have never ever had to rebuy that game again, because the whole topic of, well, it's for, you know, I buy a physical game because then it's mine and I get to keep it, but it's going to end up in the trash after you die, after you get bored of that, when you need some money, when you're down on your luck, games fly out the door real quick. And then you have to buy them again. This is my third Switch because my first two Switches broke from just constant use and like always hauling it around with me and dropping it, things like that. I have never ever bought a game twice because I buy the Switch, all my games are there. I know that that's a very specific thing because as soon as Switch stops being relevant, if I lose my data for these games, I lose my games. And that is a thing that you have to face. But again, I don't have a lot of my N64, GameCube, Wii, SNES games because I've sold them, and if I want them, I have to pay triple sometimes the price that I paid, or rather my parents paid when when I first had them. But if I had if digital servers existed and they were still relevant, then I wouldn't have to do that. I would just have to have the system and an internet connection. And the other part of that is preservationists and physical games, the only thing that you're preserving is the actual physical media. You're not preserving the digital code, because that's preserved on a hard drive somewhere. That's why when you emulate games, you don't have to stick in a physical game. You're playing a digital game. Like,
one of the things about this is that if your game is a success on the digital version, there will be people who will go out and buy it physically when it comes down later. You know, look at Streets of Rage did it. People went out and bought the Ori and the Blind Forest collection for Xbox and for Switch. Like, there are times that, and this is more indie games, like some of those games that come out later on, if they get a physical version, people will pay the $40. So, you know, we always talk about double dipping, but if you're getting both versions, you might end up paying about $55 to $60. In total.
You know, so my roommate caught me a couple of years ago because I like to call it consumer mode. I would buy an indie title, for example, and I would buy it on digital, of course, and then when a physical comes out, like, I would wind up like immediately running out and getting that physical copy and stuff like that. And my roommate basically, he was like, hey, he's like, I know, like, you love video games and stuff. You already have the game, but here's the thing about it. Like, you're spending additional money when you could be using that to buy the next game that you really want and stuff like that. And it was like, and then he even asked the question, did you already play and beat this game? And then it's like when it finally clicked for me, I was like, you know what? I'm one of those people, like, I have roommates and I live with people. And so whenever I move and stuff, I have to box all my stuff up and haul it all over the place. And it was getting to the point where I'm getting tired of carrying like 75 PS2 games, you know, plus the system and all that stuff, you know. So I realized I had a problem at that point, you know. But that being said, I am never going to say that, you know, like, collectors, you know, that want the physical, the preservationists, as Jacob called them, I'm never going to say they're crazy about it. But, you know, I get it. There's always going to be a market for you until the one day Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft get up and say no more physical games.
Yeah,
there's always going to be,
and it's going to happen. I hate to break it to you, but it's going to happen.
David, go ahead.
I was just going to say that you know, I'm actually one of those people, Jacob. There are very few games I have ever purchased that I have sold afterwards. I've hung on to games even sometimes when I was pretty low on money.
I really wish I could have done that.
That's you know, so like I still have my, like, I go back and play my original Super Nintendo that I keep all my old games. But, you know, to your credit, like, that's, you know, still a luxury. And for most folks, you know, if it comes down to, you know, paying your rent or whatever, I think that's a good point. My one franchise, though, that I would say that I will always buy physical for is Zelda games. I love going back and playing retro Zelda games, and I don't want to trust that to the digital gods, so to speak.
It hurts my heart, because as much as I love Monster Hunter, my very first digital purchase, no disc, was Rise, and there's a part of me that's like, man, I should just go to the store and get a copy of the game. I am fighting it so hard.
I will say this. When it comes to physical versions, I think we mostly can all agree it's mostly Nintendo. When it comes to digital, with like first party and third party games, it has mostly been Microsoft PC. Well, definitely PC, because they don't make box.
Yeah, PC. Yeah, PC doesn't.
No, yeah, you can't buy it.
I want to say 2% of PC games every year are in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and most of them are just a code in a box.
Yeah, actually, I buy more. I buy most of my PlayStation stuff physical. I do, unless I'm just too lazy and don't want to go to the store. The pandemic has helped me out with that. I'm like, I'm not going to a freaking store. Like, I'm just gonna buy it now.
Yeah. Can I just jump in really quick? One more thing. One other thing that I think factors into this is being a parent. I would say, for me, I don't buy my kids physical copies because they lose them. So digital is really, really great for that. But, you know, for example, Skyward Sword HD is coming out in July. I've already pre-ordered my physical copy and pre-ordered the digital download on my kids' Switches. so that I don't have to worry about that, right? And I don't have to worry about them sharing either, which is another thing, right? So
when the pre-order is available, right?
Yeah.
Because I think because I need to pre-order that from Best Buy, and I got to pre-order the Monster Hunter World of Ruin collection for I'll do that Thursday. The thing about it is that we're gonna pay what we're gonna pay. If you could spend that same amount of money of buying cigarettes, you could spend it on a $60 game.
So, and
hold on. That's not how the world works. I'm going to tell you, like, you sound like my grandmother, and I get the logic, but that's not how it works. Because to the cigarette smokers, like us gamers, we have the habit. They don't have the habit with cigarettes. We have the habit with video games.
I'm just saying, if you spend $20 every other 2 days, you can buy you a game for $60. That's all I'm saying.
No, yeah, you're right. I did want to say real quick, just so that I don't get crucified on the internet for my passion on this, is that like I said at the beginning, to the Davids and Eds of the world that love physical and buy physical and keep physical, I totally respect you, and I hope that choice stays around. I don't think it will, because I think greed will take over on these companies, and that digital, they make more money, and they'll go that route eventually.
Jacob, you already know me. If I buy a game that's on digital and it comes out later for physical,
you'll buy it
I'm
again.
double dipping.
I know, and I totally respect that. There's no shade.
No
the shade from me comes when people are like, digital people don't make sense. It's like, no, I do the exact same thing that y'all do. I get to take all of my games with me on one go.
I just think one thing personally that I love about physical games is just the box art. That's really the only thing right now that gets me to buy a game physically is just having cool box art. Like, I know that I Age of Calamity is probably one of the worst things that's happened to me in the last year.
David,
but the box art was fantastic on it.
I will say this: I have nothing against anyone who does digital. Is kind of the best way for people who want convenience, who want easy access.
This is all I have to take with me to play every single game I own.
Except when certain companies wait till like 3 PM to like flip the switch on for us to play the game that should have been available at midnight.
True.
All right. So, like, just kind of wrap up this conversation, I'm going to ask you guys, do you prefer digital or physical? And how much do you think we should pay for a game if we're paying for it physically? So, or if you think you're spending too much right now on a game. So, Jacob, we know you prefer digital. We know you prefer, you think we're not paying enough, but any final thoughts on it?
The final thought that I wanted to say, and this is another big part of it, is that if you buy a game, LeRon is an exception here, because if you buy, let me rephrase this. If you buy a game day one for $60 and then 3 months down the road it is $40, do not complain that it dropped in price. You paid $20 extra to play the game for 3 months, while people who waited for it to drop in price did not. Like, that is the hugest pet peeve for me, and I have to stop myself on Twitter all the time from yelling at people for that, because you paid more to play early.
Jacob,
you know what? I angst about the Fire Emblem thing, but in all seriousness, I appreciate the fact that I bought the game at full price, because at least the people who were responsible for the game are at least getting their full buck value for it.
Yes.
We just had a conversation on Crossroads last week about how, like, a certain person that was affiliated with a game series, with a game, was complaining about the fact, if you love games, buy them at full fracking price, stuff like that. And it was like, no, that's you. You can't come at gamers like that, because you don't know what their personal economics are like. And like I was hand wringing about whether or not to get Fire Emblem, but Fire Emblem been out for like X amount of months, and I was like, man, like it's still $60, and I've never seen it. I saw it go on sale one time before I was able to buy it, and it dropped down to like $33.
Yeah, but that's just bad luck. Like, if you've waited time and then you buy it and then it drops like a day later, that's bad luck. But if you buy it day one and then you complain that it drops in price afterwards, that's on you. That's a problem.
You have no right.
Yeah.
okay.
I'll shut up now.
David, what do you think? Do you think we're spending too much for games, and do you prefer digital over physical?
I'm in the middle about digital or physical, even though I save them all just because of the parent thing. But I think if I just think about myself as a gamer, I definitely prefer physical for the art, for the having it in my hands, the nostalgia. I think that the right price for me that I would be willing to pay is $79.99. Anything more than that, I'm going to really start slowing down how much I purchase. So yeah, that's probably the line for me.
How about you, LeRon?
I'm also in like the mixed company as far as like digital versus physical. I've noticed I've actually shifted more to digital. But that's just because like COVID helped me realize that sometimes convenience is what it's all about and things like that. So like I still cherry pick which games. Like I said, it hurts my heart that my first I have a digital version of a Monster Hunter game. It's the first one ever that I don't have a physical disc for, well, physical media for. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't. I am also. We are not paying too much for games right now. So, like I said, anybody that's complaining about the current price tag for games or the current upcoming, PS5 and Xbox series games are already $70. Things like that. But you know what? Here's my counter to that. You're complaining about the original MSRP for a game, yet you guys would spend $70, $80, $90, $140 for collector's edition games, and stuff like that. And you're getting the same thing, and sometimes you're getting cheap product, but you spent like basically double the price for the game, for the purchase itself. So, people just need to shut up about that. They do. They do. Like I said, it could be a lot. It could have been a lot worse. Like we could have been paying $200 a shot for games like we were back with the Neo Geo games, which the reason why those games were expensive was because like when you bought a Neo Geo, like the system, you actually bought the actual source code for the arcade cabinets. So when those games came out, you bought the actual arcade copy of the game, and I understand why it's that much money.
Yep.
Right. Ed, final word.
So I do physical. I will say that. I do digital also, but mostly physical when I can. If there is a game that comes out digitally, and this is how bad I am, I was buy digitally on Xbox, PlayStation, and on on Nintendo, and it could be the same game. Trust me, I own Ikaruga on all three systems for it. So I prefer physical because I love having like going into the store, buying it. It's not even just the box art; it's just having a guaranteed copy that I have this original version. So if anything ever happens on, like, if Xbox Live go down, or if PlayStation Network goes down, or my internet goes out for a while, but I still got electricity and I want to play that game, I could pop it in and play it. Like if I want to play Destiny or something. Well, I can't use Destiny because it has to be online always. If something is connected on, there's a game that I could just like literally play by popping in the disc in, that don't require the internet or something, I could just pop it in and have a good time with it. I'm old school. Before you go, that Xenoblade Chronicles, when it came out for Wii, when GameStop was trying to get me to turn it in, they jacked the used price up to $80.
Yeah.
For a $50 game. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because they only made a limited amount of that Xenoblade
Exactly.
Chronicles.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so me paying $60 for games physically or even digitally is fine with me. I pay up to $120 or $40 or $140 some dollars to get the collection. That Orbi 2 collection that I got for a Switch was $150 some dollars. And I pay already $80 for the Xbox One version. So yeah, I'm like, people don't complain about it. And if it does go on sale, it's not always guaranteed that people are going to jump on that game digitally on that sale price.
LeRon, jump in.
When Ed was talking about with the online connectivity thing, that brought me back to like I need to explain myself about like the cloud gaming thing. The reason why the cloud gaming game kind of makes me kind of skittish is just for the simple fact is like, like it's all based on how long the company has those servers up, because you don't have a physical, you basically have a license just to play that game. So it's one of those things where like, if you have the bad timing, like right now, Control Resident Evil 7 are playable on the Switch, for example, through the cloud gaming, stuff like that. But if you were one of those people that have just the bad luck and you're like, you know what, I'm finally going to play this game, and then 2 weeks later they shut the servers down, you just spent full price for a game that you can no longer play and stuff like that. So that's my explanation for why cloud gaming kind of makes me skittish right now. But like, I would never like bash anybody for how they consume video games. Like, hey, like video games is a wonderful hobby, and in some parts of the world, it's basically your escape. It's how you deal with life and things like that. So however you play your video games, I applaud you and I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Man, that was an awesome discussion. I personally buy digital just for the convenience factor, and like I said, I buy physical when I think the box art is really cool. But I travel a lot for work, so having those digital games, just being able to flip on the fly, is pretty convenient for me. And then I also kind of pick and choose some games that I like to play digitally anyway. Like Animal Crossing is a game I play for 10 minutes. It is such a pain in the ass to take that in and out if I had to play it. And same thing with like Smash Brothers, if I want to just pop on and play, 1 or 2 matches. So that's kind of where I stand with the digital versus physical. But anyway, that's been our docked mode. Thank you for everybody commenting on the chat on Twitch. And if you have anything you wanted to say about digital versus physical, or how much we're spending on games, please check us out on Twitter or join our Discord. Let us know what you think. So now we're going to get into playing with Power. David, kick it off. What are you playing with Power?
Yes.
So I've been diving into Xenoblade Chronicles a little bit deeper this week, and finally I feel like I'm making some significant progress in the game now. And I've hit that sweet spot where I'm loving it. I finally figured out like what the best combinations of attacks are and who I want in my party.
Who is in your party?
Oh, God, I don't have all the character names in front of me, and I'm so bad when you put me on the spot. What's the hero pawn? What's his name? Ricky. I've got Ricky and what's his name with Dunban. Ricky and Dunban are my 2 favorites that I have in there. I love the way Ricky has so much health and their combination. So that I'm just enjoying that. I've been doing so many side quests. I got completely lost in exploring and doing side quests, and it's been a long time since I felt really immersed in a game. So I've been really appreciating that. So I'm excited, and I'm excited that I have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 physical edition waiting for me here, which has suddenly become very hard to get. So I'm looking forward to playing that one next. Yeah, there's a shortage of that.
It's those waifus
and then I'm still, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I'm trying to 100% Spirit Tracks, and I might just need to beat it because I've got. Anyway, I could talk a long time about that game. I've got thoughts on Spirit Tracks.
You did what you could do. Now move on there.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what I've been playing with Power.
I'm going to jump in here because I do a community game night thing with the Otter Kingdom community, my community on Twitch every Saturday. And we have quite possibly created, shout out to them, because we've quite possibly created the most fun way to play Among Us. We kind of made our own set of rules where we put the movement speed on the slowest possible movement speed that you can go.
Oh, no.
The traitor has to the imposter has to announce who they are at the beginning of the game. They're not allowed to use any sort of sabotages, strictly because at that slow of a movement speed, you actually can't get to the sabotage in time to fix it. And what it becomes, and everyone is allowed to talk during the entire thing. What it becomes is the crewmates. It's like an alien game. They're like, we're like screaming at each other, like, "Oh God, he's over here, he's chasing me!" And like we try to like work together. And when you have a long task, you're just sitting there. And you're like, they're stalking you. It's the funniest thing. And it makes Vince so much more terrifying because you'll be like trouncing along, no worries at all because the imposter's not near you. And then he'll just come out of the vent and you're done because you can't run from him. I really want y'all to play with us. the best way to play Among Us.
That's like the
That
first
sounds fun.
Among Us I've
Yeah.
missed in a while too.
Yeah. I was really proud of them. We were just kind of messing around with the settings, and we were like workshopping a bunch of different ideas, and we ended up on that one. And it is easily, yes, AJ in the chat, it is easily the most fun I've ever had with that game.
I love the alien comparison. I can totally see that with the vents.
Yeah. It's very scary. And like, especially when it gets down to the imposter is chasing the last two people, they have to really work together and like watch each other's back to make sure that they can do these tasks. It is terrifying and just really funny. Other than that, like I said kind of at the beginning of the show, is I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. I've been kind of getting back into Breath of the Wild. I'm trying to get my 100% file back up and running in time for Breath of the Wild 2, which I'm hoping comes this year.
Yes.
Maybe we might get a cool surprise for E3. And then jumping into the longing this week, and I'm trying to find another indie game to pick up just kind of in my free time. Something that I haven't played before. I think it's about time, because of Breath of the Wild, I'm in kind of a Zelda mood. I think it's finally time for me to jump into Crypt of the Necrodancer. The Hyrule one. I forget the full title for that one.
Cadence of Hyrule?
Yes. Yeah, Cadence of Hyrule.
Have you tried the DLC that just came out a little while ago with Skull Kid?
I haven't played that game at all, because I was I was playing Crypt of the Necrodancer when it came out, and I was like, I have to beat Crypt of the Necrodancer, and then I just fell off Crypt of the Necrodancer, and so I just never got into Cadence, but it's sitting there. I bought it because they FOMO'd me when they were like, oh, you can get Blue Link and Red Zelda or whatever it was for the DLC pack, and I bought it right away. So
really quick, it's amazing. Cadence of Hyrule is awesome. I've played it all the way through. The DLC for Skull Kid is a separate storyline. It is ungodly. It's so hard. Like it is like the difficulty curve just all of a sudden grew exponentially for no reason, and it feels like a troll. It really does. It's just. I can't wait to hear what you think.
I need to go buy that at the store.
Yeah.
Would you say that I could play that without playing the base game and not like get spoiled on anything, or?
I mean, you could, but it's really worth playing the base game all the way through. It's a beautiful story and creative. Particularly if you played Necrodancer, it actually has a surprise connection that I won't say, but it's really cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I will do that and then get back to you about my opinions on the DLC. Because I bought the whole DLC pack because Nintendo always gets me whenever they say something's limited or whenever you have a time frame to get it in. I'm like, yep, well, there goes my money.
Look.
For me, it's only been Monster Hunter Rise. I'm nowhere close to my companion from Hunters for Hire. Like I am not what you said
230 hours right now, like 233 or something.
I just crossed the finish line at 81 hours. And I'm still going because like I said, I haven't even done my HR7 urgent yet. So, there we go. But I've been having a lot of fun, and yes, like we said earlier, like there's content there because I've been making a ton of weapons that I'm not sure when I'm going to start using them, but I've been making weapons because pro tip, you don't get your third switch skill unless you make more weapons of each of the 14 classes. You don't get it. So
wait, what?
Yeah, you have to make. I think the number is 7 different weapons.
For hire.
But
save that for.
We'll reiterate it, Ed. So, but for the Pow Block people, because this will come out.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm just still chipping
upgrades
away
count.
with this like little knife.
Upgrades count.
Dan,
so
do you want to play tonight? Let's play.
All right, we'll play.
If you upgrade a weapon to the final tree, I think that's about 7 steps, and then you'll get the last switch skill.
Okay, now see that I didn't know. I knew though if you just start making a bunch of weapons off the trees for each of the 14 classes, you unlock each individual additional switch skill.
Yes.
But I'm glad to see that because I still need to get the 7th level.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I haven't gotten the HR7 yet.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
All right. What about you?
Yeah.
So I told David this because he posted this in the chat, and David, you already know what this game is: the Sakurai Succubus. This is the big anime titty game, visual novel.
I don't like the way you say David posted this in the chat as though like I'm responsible for
Yes. David has done a 100% run through.
I knew
Yeah.
that-
David is
I-
just playing anime titty games. He's on Xenoblade Chronicles, waiting on Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I didn't know nothing about this game, and David just like he posted this, and it was looking all sexy, and he gonna put thoughts. And my thing was, I will be buying this game. So it's a lot of reading. So there's not much interaction with it, and it's very interesting. I gotta play more to see if it gets like very over the top, but it is kind of M-rated because they say some curse words in this one, and everything. Not a lot of action and stuff is going on. It's just a lot of reading with it. So, but I will give more about it. It's just I just had to mention this to David because he posted it. It came out and I brought it.
Real,
So and I told him that I was.
We're
Real
gonna
quick,
need a
Ed.
review, Ed.
Real quick, Ed, before you go on, I just want to say, because I know that people from David's professional life sometimes might listen to our podcast. David has not played this game. He covers
Thank
our
you.
news, so he was just letting us know that it was being announced, and he's just doing his job. He is a wonderful person and not playing this game.
Yes.
Thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome.
David's the innocent one. I'm the naughty.
That's right.
So, I picked up Sundered Eldritch Edition. This is kind of a Metroid style, Metrovania style game. Really, really fun. I'm definitely enjoying this. My good friend at Nindy Nation recommended it, and I just fell in love. I'm grinding. LeRon is almost like foregone. In a way.
yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
it's really, really good. It's more melee action than it is like shooting, but it has that kind of repetitious feel to it. It's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. Of course, Monster Hunter Rise. Played a little bit of Shantae, the Game Boy Advance version, I think, or the GBA game that Way Forward just released on Switch. Playing more of that. I'm not going to be too long. Saga Frontier. Dan could talk all about that. Dan now knows what I've been talking about. People now know what I've been talking about with that game, but I'm gonna try to return it and work on that game. I finished a game called When the Past Was Around, and man, I'm telling you, the emotions of that game. Like me, David, and Celeste, we just talked about Coffee Talk for Talk the Walk, and this game just hits like it almost hits that same kind of note. But it's very emotional. It's like for people who are dealing with loss, it's a great game to play. Music is fantastic. Artwork is beautiful. I told LeRon it only take you about an hour to beat, but it might take you a little bit more if you're trying to find out the puzzles and stuff. Last but not least, I played R-Type Final 2, the demo. This is a game from R-Type, people who love that kind of shoot 'em up classic game. Really fun demo. I did pre-order the physical version. I had to get it from Amazon, and I'm gonna groan about that, but that's the only way that I can get it physically. But pretty much that's it. I did pick up like another game, 99 Vidas and Monkey Barrels and The Dark Side Detective, but I'll talk about that another day. But that's pretty much what I'm playing with Power.
All right. All those games, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Since last Monday.
just those.
Yes. and I'm running through Super C, trying to get that 100% without dying.
Man. All right. So I have played less games than Ed. Yes, Ed, you were right. I will bow down to you. I had very good memories of Saga Frontier back in the PlayStation days. And man, do I wish they just stayed there, because now I'm like so sour. This game is so bad, you guys. Like, it is just so bad. Like, okay, let's start with the leveling up. It's like Final Fantasy 2. Everybody hates Final Fantasy 2 because the way you level up. The way to gain strength is to attack more. The way to get better magic is to use magic. The way to grow defense is to get hit. It's very stupid. And then, like, the story of there's 8 different characters. You can choose a different character. The story of this character lasts about a paragraph, so there's literally no depth to the character until from the beginning of the playthrough till the end. And it's just a bunch of side quests in between where you can miss characters, and the enemies are so strong that they scale up towards your main character. So if you pick up low-leveled characters after, they don't scale towards the enemy. So that's also very frustrating. Like, I actually don't see any redeeming qualities in this game. It's really,
Wow.
except I actually kind of like the artwork, though. It reminded me of Tomba.
Yeah. Oh, I love that game.
I love Tomba. I wish those games would come back. So anyway, I can't talk about Saga Frontier anymore. I'll get a little upset. So I started playing a nice game called Child of Light. This was David's challenge to me for 2021.
It's so good.
Mhm.
This game's so
Okay,
good.
so I was a little bored with it for a while. I don't love Metroidvania games because I don't like the bad backtracking and exploring aspect of it. And this is like a JRPG Metroidvania game mashup. I just got to kind of a cool plot twist though towards the end. I'm on chapter 8, and like now I'm just kind of all in, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So I'm really enjoying that game, and I'm just playing a lot of Picross as well. So
Dan, what do you think of the battle system in that?
the battle system's okay. There's nothing too special about it. But you know, there's enough to keep me hooked. I really do like turn-based battle systems. So you know, it's a game geared towards me. I wish there was a little bit more towards the battle system, a little more depth. Like, you know, Octopath Traveler had like weaknesses that you break. Bravely Default has a brave and default system. I think every kind of newer turn-based RPG could use a little bit of a gimmick. So, you know, that's where I'm at. And yeah, just Picross, playing a lot of Picross as well. So yeah, that's playing with power. So that's it for the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to get into some plugs before we go. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @RetroCode. You can check out Talk the Walk here on Boss Rush Games and more podcasts here. You can check Optional Opinion on SoundCloud, iTunes, and other podcast apps, and check out World 101 Podcast at podbean.com. I will be doing some more Optional Opinions episodes soon, and also check out Arsenal X here on Boss Rush Games.
LeRon, how about you?
Social media, you can find me Exodus 803, EXODUS 803. Also, Tuesday nights on twitch.tv/Exodus 803. Come hang out with us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Crossroads PlayStation Podcast Show for Boss Rush Games. And then, not this week, but usually every other Wednesday after that, Jacob and I hold it down on the same channel for Hunters for Hire, the Monster Hunter Podcast. And guys, like, you got to check it out, because we're always bringing the pro tips, and we're also bringing you strategies for how to fight the monsters of the week, which when we come back, it's Chameleos, the monster of the week.
Yes.
David, what about you?
You can find me at David Lasby on Twitter. That's LASBY for Lasby, at David Lasby. And then also, we have exciting stuff going on at bossrushgames.com, so come check out our articles. We also have been adding folks to our writing team, and if you're passionate about writing and you love games, of course you do, you're listening, we would like to hear from you. We want to add you to our writing team. So you can reach out either to me directly on Twitter, or you can email us at opportunities@brg@gmail.com. That's opportunities@brg@gmail.com.
Jacob, how about you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galutrad, Galutrad. I always forget how to spell my own name. And then like I mentioned, I hope to be starting my very first YouTube series with The Longing. Going to be doing a daily kind of 10-minute check-in of that game, just to play,
That's going to be awesome.
Catalog my 400 days before the king wakes up. But other than that, just streaming on Twitch and then on Twitter. What about you, Dan?
And then you can find me on Twitter at DCDM99. nothing really else than that. So that's it for today's show, everybody. Come to bossrushgames.com, play games, be better. See you next time.
Bye, everybody. Woo!
Bye.
Here.